question is answered dependent on love. I feel like love is either what makes it full or empty, on what fills you up. Seeing as how if we ever got to know and experience a holy, pure, unconditional love, that we would be filled up. Whereas if there was a synthetic love that's trying to fill you up, it's going to continually drain and be empty. And that emptiness is when people start searching. I've been on a love kick lately. There's a thing called the 5 love languages. I don't know if anyone's ever heard of that, but there's it's this idea that each person has a specific love language that's their number one love language, to which they understand and know that they are loved through that way, and also give love in that way. So there's 5 of them. Number 1, there's the first one, which is physical touch. That's me. I want to hug you all the time. That's me. So if there's anyone in here that's like, please don't touch me, you don't want to be around me because I'm going to hug you. Okay? Number 2, quality time. That's me. Anyways, quality time. That's like you know you're loved when you get to hang out with people. You need to be around people and have that social effect with it. You know, you want to go hang out with just your friends. You know, you don't want to be in a big crowd. You want to communicate with people and have that time together. Words of affirmation. This is like, you need to hear these words. You need to hear that you are beautiful, that you are loved, you know, that you are worth someone's time and attention. There's works. So this is when people do things for you. Somebody says, hey, can I help you with that? And that's whenever you know that you are loved, because they're helping you with something, even if it's something that they wouldn't enjoy. And then there's gifts. This is when somebody's thinking of you, and so they got you this, you know, or they get you a little something just because, you know. So there's these 5 love languages, and I've kind of been on a kick with this lately because I took mine and I had all of my best friends take theirs, and Nate doesn't know it yet, but I'm going to make him do it too. But this is important because once you take this and once you know somebody's love language, this helps you to understand the way that they work. Because if you're in a relationship and you're trying to spend time with this person as much as you can, and you want to be with them, and that's your love language, is quality time, you're trying to spend time with them, but what they really need is words of affirmation, and you're not giving that to them, that's when, you know, a little bit of doubt can come in that, because that's their love language. That's what they need. And so they can say, I don't know if they love me. They don't tell me. In the same way, in the opposite direction. So I've been on this kick lately with the 5 love languages. And we have this thing at NSU called Riverhawk Prayer Walk. And if any of you know me very well, Lizzie doesn't like to wake up early. Riverhawk Prayer Walk is at 7:30. Oh, it's hard, guys. But anyways, my friend texted me the other day, and I was like, I really hope you're going to be there. So I tried really hard. And my goodness, I was there. It was a little bit late, but I was there. And I get there, and there is no one there. And it was like the one time Lizzie shows up at Riverhawk Prayer Walk, and there's no one here. Okay, that's really cool. Anyway, so I just decided, I'm up. I'm doing this thing. I got out of bed for this. I'm doing it. So I just start walking, you know, and me and God are just talking. And I don't know if you guys knew this, but God is a gentleman. And so I'm just talking with God, you know. Hey, I've been on this 5 love languages prayer cake, and it's really cool, and it's really neat. And God says, ask me what my love language is. See, that's the gentleman part, because he didn't just blurt out a bunch of answers that I didn't want answered. He invited me to ask. So I said, okay. So what's your love language? All of them. Well, that's a really short answer, but okay. Because we have this knowledge that God is love, but I don't think sometimes we understand what that means. And so he proved it to me. So he says, all of them. Physical touch. I love healing you. When you have a need, I love meeting that need and healing you physically. When you're upset, I love wrapping my arms around you and comforting you. That's my physical touch. Quality time, I long to be with you. To be in that secret place where we can communicate. I long for that. Because He's pursuing us relentlessly. I love that word relentless. It's a heavy word. I like heavy words. Relentless. As in, if you're running, there's no stopping. There's no, I'm going to rest for a minute and catch my breath. No. Let that breath go. You're relentless. You're not stopping. You don't need water. You got this. He's relentlessly chasing us, so He longs for that quality time. Words of affirmation. I don't know if you've read this in the Bible a lot, but God kind of loves you. He says it a lot. You know what He says about you? He says you're His child. You're loved. You are beautiful in His eyes, ladies. Men, you are strong men of God in His eyes. You are warriors of Christ. He's affirming you. And He wants that back. God, you're beautiful, you're lovely, you're wonderful. Because He's relational like us, because we were made in His image. So He desires that in return. Works. God does works for us all the time, does He not? God, I really need to pass this test because I've been failing the class. Doesn't always work. Sometimes we have to learn lessons. But works, He does things for us all the time. All the time. In return, that's us giving it to God, using your works, using your talents, giving back to God, using the work that you do in the church and giving back to God. It's a love language. Gifts. Has anyone heard that Jesus died for you? Because that was like the biggest gift ever. He gives that to us. He gives us the gift of the Holy Spirit. He gives us the gift of peace. He gives us those things all the time. And in return, we want to gift Him. There's a difference between tithe and offering. You know, I don't know if you guys have heard of tithing or do tithing or whatnot. But tithing, it's a thing my parents taught me. But offering, sometimes God will move on your heart. Give to this, give to that. You're not just giving to that, you're giving to God. It's a gift. It's a love language. So God tells me all of them, they're all my love language. And as much as I give them, I want to receive them, because the same way I want to give you a hug, I want to receive a hug. Have you ever tried to hug a person that doesn't hug back? It's kind of awkward. What about that? Okay, so God has these love languages, and He's giving and He's receiving. But the beautiful thing is that the 5 love languages say that to each person there's one dominant love language. Okay? I think how much easier it would be if everyone knew everyone's love language. How much love there would be in the world. But God has every love language, and this is a beautiful thing. Because if He has every love language, it doesn't matter which one you have. Because He has all of them. So whatever you are in need of, He can fill that need, He can fill that gap, because He has every love language. My mind was blown. Okay, so that reminded me of this quote in a book that I read that Sister O gave me. Okay, and it says something like this. From God's other known attributes, we may learn much about His love. We know, for instance, that because God is self-existent, His love has no beginning. And because He is eternal, His love can have no end. Because He is infinite, it has no limit. Because He is holy, it is the essence of all spotless purity. Because He is immense, His love is an incomprehensibly vast, bottomless, shoreless sea, before which we kneel in joyful silence, and from which the loftiest eloquence retreats confused and abashed. I love that. It's got a lot of heavy words. Heavy words also sometimes equal big words. But what he's saying here is that because of God's attributes, because of the things that we know about God, His characteristics, we can know the same thing about His love. And that works in all sorts of things. Because we know that God is omnipresent, He's everywhere at the same time. We can know that no matter where we go, we're not going to be away from Him. This comes back to the I will never leave you nor forsake you. Because He's everywhere. There's a guy named Jonah who didn't really get that at first. He soon got it. In a nasty place. Ish, nasty. So, because of this, we know this about God. So this goes the same way. God created the world, so He spoke it into existence. And a seed. Plants are a beautiful thing because they take the seed, a dead thing, and they put it in the ground, and then something new and alive comes out of it. So even the tiniest things God made with purpose. And because of that, we can know that we were made with purpose. Because when we're born into this world, we're not, you can't be born a Christian. This is a sinful world. So we're being born into this world and it's spiritually dead. But with purpose, He brings us alive. He brings us into something new, a new creation, new life running through you all the time. Because God created the world and He spoke it into existence. There was this scientific fact and this discovery. Okay? Everybody knows what an atom is. Tiny, tiny particle. It makes up everything. Literally everything in our entire world made up by atoms. There's this tiny thing inside of an atom. And they examined it because they never paid attention to it before. They examined it and they noticed there was a vibration in this tiny thing in this atom. So they took that vibration and began to compare its waves to the waves that we know today. This wave was identical, like a replication of a sound wave. When the human speaks, there are waves. That's how you hear. In this tiny, tiny particle in the atom, there is a voice wave. He spoke it into existence. It's still vibrating today. So literally, He spoke our world into existence. He's holding it in existence, speaking into the church, into His people, into your life. That's what's holding this world together. Because if that vibration were to stop, that means something in every atom is going to stop. It's going to stop vibrating. You know what happens if all the atoms in the world stop doing their job? Nothing is existence anymore. Everything ceases to exist. He is holding our world. He is speaking into it. But He's speaking into your life. Because He has a plan for you. He has a destiny for you. So God has these love languages. And He's just saying a lot of cool stuff to me. I was trying to write this, and because this was supposed to be spoken word night, I wanted to put it in a poem form. That's what a spoken word is. So I'm trying, and I'm trying to sit, and I'm trying to write this poem. I can't write a poem worth junk. Can't do it. And so I knew what God has been speaking to me. And I know that this is, in case you don't know this is a word for you. This is a word for this youth group. Okay? Because I tried to put it in poem form, no matter what I did, I couldn't do it. So I thought, okay, well, that's not working. So maybe I'll do somebody else's work, because I have a lot of favorite spoken word poems. And so I'm on the bus back from Willow Rock with some of my college people, and I'm looking on YouTube, trying to find out which one I want to do. And every video comes up and says, this video is not able to play, or something like that. Everyone. I said, okay, God, that's cool. Don't know what I'm speaking over. And in case you don't know, I have this game I like to play. It's called the songwriting game. And basically, you just play a bunch of chords, and then you sing whatever comes to mind first. So that's a lot of fun. You get a lot of funny songs that way. And so the more I tried, I kept coming up with ideas that I wanted to say, but it would never go into poem form. And so God starts telling me, hey Lizzie, we're going to play the songwriting game on Wednesday night in front of a bunch of people. I like the songwriting game, but not in a legit setting. It's just for fun. But God's like, no, we're going to play a game. It's going to be great. I'm like, okay, you really think so? So, what I've said, it's not written out, but it's what God wants me to say to you. Because God's fun. He wants to play a game with me. That's pretty cool. God of the universe wants to play a game with me. You see, He likes adventure. This life, this Christian walk wasn't supposed to just, I'm going to sit in a seat. I'm going to stand up during worship. I'm not going to talk on my phone. No, it's an adventure. He wants to adventure with you. Does anybody like to adventure? If you know me, I like to adventure. When we go to Chili's, I get off the sidewalk and run on the rocks in the garden because it's an adventure. It's an adventure. He wants to adventure with you. He wants to take you places. He wants to do something crazy with you. And it's going to be awesome. If you didn't know, in the Bible, God used prostitutes. He used adulterers. He used thieves. He used liars. All of these people to do great things for Him. And so, since the human mind can recognize pattern, I'm going to take a wild guess and say that He can use me. Because He's not afraid of my dirt. I'm afraid of my dirt. I'm afraid of your dirt. I don't want to touch it. I don't want to be around that. That's nasty. But He's not afraid of my dirt. He's not afraid of your dirt. He's not. That's what's so cool. So, this pattern that I'm seeing, I'm going to take a wild guess and say that He can use you. Because He has a plan for your life. So, I'm sorry that wasn't in poem form, but God wanted to say that to you. He wants to adventure with you. It doesn't matter what love language you have, because He has all of them. How lucky we are to have God with every love language. So, that's what I got to say to you.